I am currently standing on the edge of a volcanic crater that erupted over 800 years ago. Ever since then, the volcano has died. But what's been left is a sulfurous lake that you're not allowed to swim in, and a crater that looks like something out of Jurassic Park. This is literally the definition of geographic history, and I'm literally standing on the rim of the crater with the entire view of the lake behind me. Welcome to the beautiful volcano of Quilotoa, Ecuador.
Burn it up, burn it up,
Good morning guys, and welcome back to another video here from the beautiful country of Ecuador. This is the bus station of a city called La Tafuga, and today we're heading to a volcano. But the problem is, I was told the bus leaves at 6, but if you look at all the ticket stands here, they are all closed, which means there isn't even a single stand where I can buy a ticket to the volcano for today. I'm not really sure how we're gonna get there. So let's figure that out, and then we'll be on our way to one of the most beautiful places on the planet, I would imagine. Friendly guy here at the station just told me I don't even need to buy a ticket. I just come to where the platforms are. You can see all the platforms are here. And this bus, it's gonna take us to Quilotoa, I hope. Don't know when it's gonna leave, but let's quickly get on before we actually miss the bus. Okay, well, I thought the bus would directly take us to Quilotoa, but I was mistaken. It actually only takes us to this town here called Sumurua, I think is the name of it. From here we have to take another ride to Quilotoa, and this guy earlier was trying to charge me $5 for it, which is really, really pricey for Ecuador for just a few kilometers. So I'm gonna go see if I can get a better price. We're gonna go to the center where the market is, and we're gonna see if we can get someone who can actually take us to Quilotoa. I just didn't know the bus stopped here and didn't go any farther. That's kind of disappointing, but we're gonna figure this out. Well, we're not exactly on a colectivo, but I found a guy. He said he'll take me for $3, and I know it's not 50 cents, but he just told me that the bus actually only goes to Quilotoa at 12. And if that's the case, I don't want to be waiting here for 4 hours. So I'd rather go to Quilotoa now, and then let's see whatever bus comes back. We'll just take it. But $3 isn't a bad price, so we'll take the $3, and we're on our way over to finally see a volcano. Well, we finally made it to the viewpoint. This is called the Mirador, and let me just tell you, this is the volcano of Quilotoa, and it looks absolutely stunning. Now, it might be interesting to first know the history of this place. So this volcano, like I mentioned earlier, it erupted back in 1280, and that was the last eruption. Apparently, scientists say that it was one of the biggest eruptions of all time, releasing so much ash into the air that it literally blocked out the sky of the entire American continent for a very, very long time. I think if I read somewhere, it was like one of the top 10 biggest volcanic explosions in Earth's history. So it's like a massive, massive explosion. You can see what's left is this massive crater behind me, which has now turned into the lake. Now, let's talk about the lake. If you look at the color of the lake, it is a beautiful, bright, greenish blue color. It's perfectly turquoise. And you might say, I really, really want to go inside and swim in turquoise clear water. but you don't, because that water is sulfuric. It's the remains of the explosion, the remains of the volcano are within that lake. And it's not a shallow lake either. It's a very, very deep lake that extends all the way down to the core of the crater. So if anything happens, you don't know what you can do. Now, you are allowed to go take out a boat onto the crater. You're allowed to take a boat onto the lake. You're just not allowed to go in and swim. We are at an elevation of over 3,000 meters above sea level. There's nothing actually blocking the wind from us. We are at one of the highest points in the area, over 3,000 meters above sea level, which is why we're getting the full strength of the wind blowing at us. Now, when you explore the volcano, there are a couple things you can do. First, you can do the rim hike. Basically a hike that goes around the rim of the volcano. That usually takes about 4 hours, but I'm not really interested in doing the rim hike. Rather, I'd rather do the hike down to the bottom of the crater. You can go right to the edge of the crater. Of course, you don't want to touch the water, but you can go on a boat ride. So let's see what we can do. Let's see what's gonna happen. And let's just make the most of this beautiful day here, right behind me in Quilotoa, Ecuador. If you're tired of walking and you don't want to walk all the way down to the crater, that is not a problem, because they have mules here on rent that you can rent for, I think, for $10, and they'll take you all the way down to the bottom of the crater, right on the surface of the lake. So if that's something that you want to do, there's these ladies that carry around these mules all along the staircase, and you're able to rent them out to go down to the lake. You're such a good boy. You're such a good boy. Huh? How do you find Kilo? Oh! That dog was not happy at all. That was a very, very angry dog. There are so many different colors of flowers. You got purple, yellow, white, colors that I've literally never seen before. And the reason for that is actually not only on the volcanic crater itself, but all around here. There is such fertile soil that a lot of plants and crops grow. In fact, when we were at the market, the other town, there was so much produce being sold because the farmland around here is so fertile from all that volcanic ash and that volcanic dirt. And that's why you see all these sort of flowers and trees growing here. It's not a barren landscape, it's not a desert. There are so many flowers and plants that grow here, which makes it one of the most fertile places in Ecuador. That is where we started from, like all the way up there at that ridge. You can see there's like a tiny little house up there. That's where we started. We're almost there. That's where we're heading. So you can see the lake is there. We are almost there. I think in about maybe 10-15 minutes we'll probably be there. But it's not been the easiest hike, and the reason for that is because I didn't realize this, but the route is very, very sandy. I didn't realize how basically the route isn't even like paved, it's just sand. And it's okay if it's sand, but when the wind blows, because this place is so windy, it blows the sand up and it gets all into your eyes. So I see some locals here, they actually have like a mask that they cover their face with. I don't think it's for COVID, I think it's actually for the sand, because the sand does get everywhere and that gets really, really annoying. So something worth considering when you're coming here, do bring something to cover your mouth, something to cover your eyes maybe, because that might help you, protect you from the sand that just blows everywhere when the wind blows. Oh my gosh, you're so friendly. Oh wow. We found one friendly dog here in Quilotoa. Finally, we have made it to the edge of Laguna de Quilotoa, and you can see right behind me the perfectly green water. It's actually really, really green. I cannot explain to you how green this water is. It's literally like you put green dye in and just spread it across the entire lake. That is some of the greenest water I've ever seen. And like I said before, that's because sulfur is yellow in color. When you mix that with the blue water, you get this really, really, really light green color. Now, as you can see, probably right behind me, there are people that are renting out kayaks. So that's something you can do. You can kayak along the lake. Standing right by the lakeside, you get a perfect view. Look at the mountains behind me. I mean, that That's something you're not going to expect. We're literally in a volcanic crater. And it's not really like explosive, it's not like lava's flowing out. This is a dead volcano, which means that I can stay here as long as I want and I don't have to worry about the volcano suddenly exploding and going crazy. The water is so green. I just cannot, when you really come down here, you really get a sense of how green this water actually is, because from up there it looks kind of bluish, looks kind of greenish, but when you come down here it literally looks like emerald colored water. From the dock, you can actually see how deep the water suddenly goes. Yes, you've got the shallow end here, but just a few inches into the water and you're already pretty deep. I can only imagine how deep this lake actually goes. That's why they say no swimming, because the wind is strong and the waves are strong, and if you get pulled away, it's a deep lagoon in there and it is not the easiest to get out of. From here, we're gonna head back up. We're gonna walk all the way. I wish I could pay for a horse, but I didn't bring enough money with me. So we are walking all the way back up to the ridge up there. Let's go for it. Well, at last we have made it back up to the viewing platform, which you can see right behind me again. That hike up was so much harder than the hike down, and it's because of the same reason. It's because of the sand. So you take one step, but you're really falling too. So it's really difficult. That's why it takes so much time. It is also very steep, but it's the sand. The sand makes it really difficult to get all the way back up here. But we are finally back at the top of Quilotoa, and I have to say this has been an amazing experience. I do know that some people actually camp at the bottom of the crater, so if you want, that is something you can do. I saw a lot of people bring like snacks, waters in their camping tents because they're going to stay overnight down there at the lagoon. Only problem is it probably gets really cold at night. Like when I came up here in the morning, it was freezing cold. Like it was like maybe 6 degrees, 7 degrees. So throughout the night, it'll probably get down to 2 degrees, 1 degree maybe, because of how cold and windy, as you can tell. Look at the color of that lake. You can see it right there for yourself. That is something that you're not going to see anywhere else in the world, and that's why this place is so famous and so unique here in Ecuador. I'm going to leave you guys here from Quilotoa, Ecuador. What an amazing day, what an amazing adventure here in Ecuador. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more travel videos. I'll see you guys in the next video here from the beautiful country of Ecuador. Bye guys.